Hey everyone, Jesse here with Idaho Homesteading. Wanted to kind of show the overview of the plant misting system that I'll be hooking up again this year. And so the pieces that we have, this is the misting controller, and this item would basically controls the valve so that the water will flow through every 10 minutes for about 10 seconds. So this is a Galcon 8056 AC6S. They probably have some newer versions now. This one's probably about 5 years old, but has been working every year. And so the wiring will come from this controller. It'll have power to the wall, just an AC plug outside, and we will connect the wires to this valve. And so this is just like a sprinkler valve. This is a 3/4 inch orbit valve, water valve, and I have it, let's see here, connected to 3/4 inch pipe, PVC pipe. So this is a female to a male, and I glued it in there so that there would be no leaks. Same thing with the other end, and I'm just putting on this extension piece. And so basically every 10 minutes this will receive some power, and it'll turn on this valve. So the water's coming through here, it'll turn on and it will fill this pipe right here. I'll put a cap on the end of this pipe. I'm going to drill 3 holes evenly spaced in the pipe, and let's see if I can get one of these things out. These are the mist heads. These ones specifically are Dramm Stix. I think it's DRAMM. They have metal spikes so you can stick them in the ground, and then they have this black piece of tubing, which is, I think it's about an 1/8 inch. So I'll drill those holes in here, I will stick them in, and then I'll just secure them with a zip tie. And that way, every 10 minutes, these things will go off for about 10 seconds. And so the whole idea of the plant misting bed is the leaves on the plants that you stick in there, they almost dry out, and then they get misted again. So you don't want them too wet, but you don't want them to dry out because then they'll just die. Eventually, they will produce new roots from the base, and you'll have brand new plants. So I will get this off, and I'll show you how to wire up the controller in 1 second. Okay, so what we have here is a LAN cable. So you notice that just normally what you use from like a computer to the internet, something in the wall. I've used phone lines before. They have special irrigation wire, which is rated for outdoors. It's probably got a thicker wire, but these have always worked in the past. So usually I'll just find something laying around and use it. And so I have these wire strippers, and I just want to take off about 1/2 inch or so of the insulation. See if I can do this while looking. Oh, we got most of it. Let's see if we can peel it off. It's probably a little easier if you have something bigger. So we have just the copper, and specifically with this controller, we already have the AC, and I don't think it matters what side you put it in. Both wires are the same. So this is going to the plug itself. Same idea. You have stripped wires. You'll unscrew these 2 items, put the wires in, and then screw those down so that these can't come out. And so let me go ahead and put one of these in there. I want to say that you can have up to 6 valves. So they might all go to constant, I'm thinking. I'll have to look at the specs really quick. But at least in this case, I have the orange wire, and I'm going to put that into the first slot. So let me do that. Hold on 1 second. So I have this little screwdriver, and I'm going to unscrew that, put in the orange, right there, hold it, screw it down, just give it a little tug to make sure it stays there. And then on the other side, that same orange, if I can get this out of the way, that same orange is going to go to one of these wires on the water valve. So you just twist it up a little bit, get your wire, and obviously the length of your wire should be from where the controller needs to be to that water valve. And you want to put this water valve as close to where the tubes are. So you don't want to have this water valve 100 feet away from where the mist heads are. You want it to be as close as possible, so when it opens up, it only has a tiny little bit to fill up before the mist heads turn on. Because if you had this turn on, but there was 200 feet of pipe, it's going to take a couple seconds for that pipe to fill up and get to pressure. So we don't want that. We want it quick and fill up as least amount of space from the valve forward as possible. So we have that same orange wire, and we're going to connect this. I'm going to get some of those twist caps, or whatever they're called, those electrical caps, when I have a chance. But in the meantime, we'll just mechanically do it like that. Let me get to the, let me look up, I'm pretty sure we do the other wire to C, and there you go, it fell out, but we'll redo that. So let me double check the setup and I'll come right back. So I went ahead and wired up the valve. So one of the wires is orange, it's going to 1. The other one is, I think I have orange and white. Yeah, I have orange and white. They're connected with these two electrical wiring cap things. I'll tape this up really good because I don't want any water to get in here. And so that'll finish that portion off. Alright, so I looked on the online. The M is if you had a main valve that had to turn on before all the other valves would turn on. So right now I have the white and orange going to the first slot on the right hand side, and the orange going to one of the C spaces. So we can go ahead and put the cover back on. Let's see here. See if I can do that one-handed. I checked to make sure that they would not fall out. And then we can test this thing out to see if it actually works without any water, because I don't have all the water connections ready to go. There we go. Let's see here. Let me get it set up, and we'll look at the programming for it as well, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we got it plugged in. One of the items that you can do is manually test it to see if your valve is working. So I'm going to press this button right here. It's going to go down from valve, duration, days, start. Let's see here, I'll keep going. And I want to get to it's on manual. If I press the plus button, it turns on. If I press the minus, you can probably hear the clicking. Let's try it again. So we know that it works, and we can go through programming the thing. So let's see here, it is the first valve, the duration that we want. Let's see if we can get 10 seconds. So let's see here, it'll turn on for 10 seconds, I believe. Days. So we just want it doing it every 10 minutes. And this little symbol up here, I just kept pressing it past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so it's going every 10 minutes for 10 seconds. Oops, let me go back to that. Valve 1, duration 10 seconds. On days, it's going every 10 minutes. And we can just put a general start time. Usually this just has to be after you are programming it. So if it was 9 o'clock in the morning right now, I would put it at 9:12, and then it would start this process at 9:12 a.m. You always want to do it after the time that you're programming it. I think this is a sensor. I'm just going to go past that. This is when it's open. So I want it open and really... So when you program these things, you want it starting to turn on probably a little bit before the sun comes up. It does not have to run at night. So over here, let's see if I can go back to it. I want it to open at, let's do 6:30. So starting at 6:30, this should start running every 10 minutes. And I want it to stop running probably when it gets dark. So probably around, we'll do 9 p.m. for right now. It's just starting to get sunnier and sunnier over here. So with that, and then we can probably set the time. Right now, I think it's around probably 3 o'clock p.m. So then this is programmed. I would put this outside right by the bed. I'll do some more videos later on, but this is how to set up the misting controller, the valve, and then obviously you need to put the water line attached to it, attach the mist heads to the pipe, and I think I'll drill a hole and do that part right now. Okay, so we have the 3/4 inch pipe. I used a 3/16 inch bit and I drilled 3 holes in that pipe because I have 3 mist heads. I pushed those about halfway in. Let's see if I can see it in there. You can see it go in there. It's kind of a snug fit, which is good. But then we also want to secure this. I've done it before where I just set them in there, but they eventually will pop out. So just a zip tie around here and you will have it secured. It's not going to pop out. There's tension on it, or you could even tape it with like electrical tape or something like that. So with that, you have your entire setup. It's ready to go. Just need to do the beds. It'll pump water out of these things that you can adjust. For the propagation bed itself, you will need a bag of perlite and coarse sand. And you should put that propagation bed in the shade. You don't want to have it in direct sun. The shadier spot, the better. Probably protected from wind for the most part. That's usually the best spot. Hey everyone, part 2 of the system is we have the bed, the misting bed that we're going to make. So I have 4 bags of just natural play sand, as coarse as I could get, and a bag of perlite, along with 2 2x4s, and then an end board down there just so I can kind of keep all the sand and everything together. So basically the mixture is 50% perlite to sand, and it doesn't have to be exact or anything. And so we will just put it all together and kind of mix it up. One thing you do want to be careful with is don't inhale this stuff. Don't inhale this perlite. I think it's like volcanic rock or something, so it will probably never go away from your lungs. And so this is just at Home Depot, this play sand. You can get in like the contractor area. I think it's like $4.50 a bag or so. Best case scenario is that you get it in bulk, because these 4 little bags are 20 some odd dollars. You might be able to pick up a half yard of sand for the same price. And I'll probably need some more bags of sand. But basically, once everything's together, you can mix it all up and you'll have your mixture for your misting bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump out the rest of this stuff and get it all prepped and ready to go. Next up, I got the misting bed all mixed up. It's about half the bed. I'll probably just put a divider in there and call it good for now, and I can do some more later. But we have dry fitted all of the pieces on this. So we have this is a 3/4 inch hose to 3/4 inch slip. So this is in the irrigation section. It's like $2 maybe for that connection. I also have a 3/4 inch slip right here that is just going from the valve to the end pipe with the holes in it. And then I have a 3/4 inch cap on the end of that pipe. So the hose will attach here. We have the controller attached to the valve. It's going to turn on every 10 minutes for 10 seconds, which will allow the piping to go through the misters. If you've never glued PVC before, you can use this. It's the PVC glue. So you have the purple can, which is the primer, and then you have the actual glue. I would recommend putting on some gloves for this. You'll probably get it on your hands. But let's see if I can open this up. The overall process is to make sure the pipe's clean. You have your primer, which you'll open up first. And let me make sure the glue will open as well. There we go. So if you have both of them open, they stink. And kind of dab it in the can so you don't drip everywhere. Just do it on the outside. Kind of prime that. And you can do it on the inside pipe with the primer, like that. Same thing with the glue. Get some excess off. Put it around that. Stick it on there. And just twist it and hold it for 20 seconds or so. After that point in time, it won't move and it will be glued. So I'll go ahead and finish up doing the 3/4 inch slip and the end cap, and then I will test out everything in probably an hour or so to make sure that it's glued and the water pressure isn't leaking anything. Alright, so we got the bed set up. We have the misting heads in there. I was trying to get them a little lower. I'll probably just cut the metal poles in it. But basically they should be maybe a foot at the most above your misting bed. Obviously I have lava rock underneath, so it's a little harder to adjust that. Let's see here. We have the hose connected. And then you have your 3 holes wire tied down to the pipe so that the valve will open up. It'll flow water through those and hopefully those will spray. The only other part that you might need to adjust is this green pinhead. So you can raise it up or down, and usually I put it all the way down and then just raise it up a tiny bit, and that gives a good spray. So I'm going to just run this controller manually, and I need to cover everything to waterproof it. Alright, so if we go to manual, there we go. You kind of see the spray. Now the question is, can I turn it off? There we go. So that will automatically happen based on the timing schedule, and then it'll keep your plants misted, and hopefully they will root out nice and easy. Thanks for watching.